Gay Podcast. I'm Damali here. What's up, you guys? Back with another review for Wentworth. Today I will be reviewing Season 4, Episode 12, Seeing Red. Okay, so the episode pretty much opens up where it left off from last week. We have B still asleep, still glowing from her moment with Allie. We're abruptly woken up from this moment when some noise comes on over the intercom and B opens her eyes. She gets up and you can tell she's feeling herself. She's happy. She's excited. She's in love. She walks out of her room still with the blanket wrapped around her. And Liz is like, okay, bitch, all right, we see you got some. And Liz is like, you look like a schoolgirl, a teenager, or whatever she said. And, B just starts smiling and blushing and smiling from ear to ear. She asks Liz, where did Allie go? And Liz tells her Allie went to the shower. Before B goes to the shower and leaves Liz lets her know, but you need to watch your back. Let's not forget. I know you in this beautiful moment right now, but let's not forget about what happened yesterday when you fucking quit Top Dog. So B is damn near skipping down the goddamn hallway, to get to her bae. She's excited. She gets into the shower room and she calls out to Allie. Allie doesn't answer. We hear water in the background and B takes a few steps and then we see Allie slumped over in the last stall. B rushes over to her, calls her name, shakes her, slaps her a couple times. No response. She hits the panic button. And then we get this weird montage of I think it was Will and B kind of rushing Allie down to medical. Once she gets down to medical, Will is basically asking, okay, what's in her system? What drugs did she take? Like, what's going on? And B's assuring him that she wouldn't do this. She would, she promised me she would never, do this to herself. They're trying to, I think we hear in the background the nurse say, okay, she's not breathing. And we see B become very panicked and distraught in this moment. And she calls out to her and they're just like, you gotta go. You can't stay here right now. You tripping. So next we see she goes back to her cell block and we see everybody kind of circled around her and she just kind of walking back and forth trying to figure out who could have possibly done this to Allie. Going through different people. Boomer suggested it was Tina because she snitched on her and just going through different people. She gets fixated on Cass. She's like, Cass had to have done this. Like, it couldn't have been anybody else. So while this is going on, we have Vera and Jake in her office, and Vera and Jake are looking at the camera. And they see that it's a certain amount of footage missing from the cameras or from the tape. And she's like, what the fuck is up with this? And Jake is like, something could have crashed. And Vera's like, yeah, conveniently. Now, to me, Vera should have caught on to that shit right then for Jake. But we know she a little naive, so I'm gonna just let that go. So yeah, she's like, yeah, that's too fucking convenient. That means that an officer's involved. And Jake is like, so you think an officer, messed with her, hurt her, tried to kill her? And Vera's like, no, I think that an officer gave her the drugs. So eventually we see B rushing down the hallway. She runs into Juice's boys and they're calling her snitch and barking at her, but B got other shit on her mind. And we see she stops to talk to Will to try to figure out some more information. And I think this is where he says she got rushed off to the hospital. Will walks away because he got his own shit to worry about, which we gonna get to. He walks away and she looks over to her left and she sees Cass talking to Linda. Now we know Linda is shady as hell and B knows that too, so B is definitely side-eyeing that situation. And she's like, oh, fuck no, bitch. So next we see, little old ass fucking Cass, walking into her room like dee. And out of nowhere, she opens her door. Out of nowhere, B punches the shit out of her. They get into it. They're going back and forth. They get on the ground. They're scrapping. And Cass gets the upper hand, knocks her down. B bangs her head. She gets a concussion. Now, while all of this is going on, we have Liz and that other lady that I can't ever remember her name. Y'all know who the fuck I'm talking about. The bitch who killed her husband and a friend or whatever. So the lady is pretty much, crying, and she's upset and she's goddamn distraught. And Liz is like, yo, what's going on? Are you okay? And she says, they found my friend's body, and she crying, bitching and moaning about this friend that she fucking killed, which we gonna get to later. Okay, so this is where this review is about to change up. I'm not gonna go play by play. I'm gonna just, give a summary review of what the fuck happened. I wanted to give a play by play for the first few scenes, just so y'all can understand how intense this shit is and what the fuck is going on right now. So Will, like I said, is worried about his own shit because Vera is like, fuck it, I'm doing drug tests. I need to find out which one of my officers is being shady. So she holds these drug tests and she's checking lockers, and Will is extremely stressed out right now because, like we saw in a couple episodes ago, he went to the club with Drake and he went to the club with Jake and he got fucked up. So he goes to Jake and he's like, look, we're fucked up because we got high and she's doing drug tests. And he's like, look, the nurse wants to fuck me, it's all good. So he goes to the nurse and he's like, look, I need you to lose my piss, blah blah blah. The nurse act like she ain't down with it, but obviously she's fucking down with it because the bitch is trifling. Now someone who's even more trifling is Jake, because he only asks for himself, he doesn't ask for Will. So later on in the episode we see that Will gets suspended because Vera obviously gets his piss test and sees that he has drugs in his system. And we know how Vera is. She she has to do the right thing, even though when it's in her fucking favor she can do whatever, give whoever money and whatever fucking else. So anyway, while all of this is going on, B takes her ass to the nurse's office or whatever. The nurse's office. She takes her ass to the y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. She takes her ass there, and the little scuffle that she had with Cass pretty much, caused her ass to get a concussion. So the whole time she's just trying to figure out what is going on with Allie. I need to know more. I need to know, information. Is she okay? She's asking for Will. This fucking nurse bitch has a fucking attitude the whole goddamn time. And I'm like, bitch, please. Like, I'm sorry to go off fucking subject, but y'all know how I fucking do. She reminds me of that fucking bitch that works at some fucking nursing home and who's mean to the fucking old ladies and shit because she don't want to work at a fucking nursing home. Bitch, it ain't my fault that you work at the motherfucking nursing home, bitch. Maybe you should have went to college for something else, bitch. But anyway, so she's like, where's Will? I need to talk to Will. Finally, Will brings his ass in there. Well, no, first the fucking therapist comes in. She ain't trying to talk to no goddamn therapist. She's like, bitch, please. Then Will comes in. And she's like, look, I need to know what's going on. I need to make one call, so everything will be okay, blah, blah, blah. So later on, some time passes later on, Will comes back with a phone and he's like, look, when you get out of here, you look, this between me and you, lose the fucking phone. So immediately she calls Franky and she's like, Franky, something's going down. Okay, so I gotta pause that right there. She on the phone with Franky, but right before the shit went down with Franky and right before she was trying to get to a phone, Ferguson is about to go to her goddamn court case and they're escorting her out. Before she leaves, she stopped by B's little hospital room or whatever the fuck, and she basically tells her, yeah, I fucking gave your girlfriend a hot shot, I did it, and this is why she's trying to get the phone. Now fast forward to what the fuck I was saying. She on the phone with Franky and she's like, look, bitch, something's going down, we gotta get this shit together. Franky's like, alright, I'm gonna find Shane, I'm gonna see what's up. So now we have Franky out and about trying to find Shane and trying to figure out what's going on, working with B. Eventually B goes back to her cell and she sits there and she's waiting. She's making calls. We see her trying to call the hospital again. She can't get through because she said she was a friend and not family, which I don't understand why she didn't say she was family first, but anyway. So all of that, while that's going on, she on the phone and shit. Franky Franky goes to Ferguson's house, and Shane's not there. So she, like I said, she just running around trying to find Shane. She gets to the courthouse, and then she sees his car. So she's like, okay, he's here. She's looking for him, and out of nowhere, Ferguson's van pulls up. She gets out, and her and fucking Franky have a goddamn staring contest or some shit. And Franky's like, look, I gotta find him. She's running around. She finally finds Shane. She pulls him into the alley, and Shane pulls out a gun on Franky. Now, in this fucking moment, I just knew Franky was about to die. Like, I was like, oh shit, Franky's about I was like, damn it, Franky's about to go. Like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, I'm not prepared. Like, I know it was rumors and shit going around that Franky was gonna die, but I'm like, I am not prepared right now for her to die. So he has a gun to Franky, and Franky's just, trying to talk him down, saying, your mother wouldn't want to see you like this, and you don't want to be a killer, and I've been to jail, and you don't want to walk that life, and blah, blah, blah. And finally, took him about 15 minutes, but finally he put the gun down. I'm fucking over here exhaling, fucking grabbing my teddy bears and shit, because I'm like, holy shit, okay, after Franky was gone. And they hug, and she's like, look, I'm gonna get rid of the gun for you. He runs off. So while all of this is going on, Franky and B are still conversing, and they're like, okay, look, I got Shane, but something else is pretty much still going down. So next we see Niels Jesper, or whatever his name is. We see him fucking just chilling his ass up in the goddamn van, because he ready to go snitch on some goddamn body. So car pulls in front of his van. Long story short, he gets fucking shot in the back of the van, and we see that it was Jake. And in this moment, I was like, I don't see why I didn't guess this, because this was like the most obvious thing to happen that could have fucking happened, because it was obvious it was gonna be Jake. Because if you think back, Ferguson was like, look, I'll give you $90K, and he's like, well, what I gotta do for you? So it was kind of obvious, but for some reason I just didn't put it together. But after seeing it, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that was obvious. So that happens. Then we got Franky and we got B, and they're in the the area where they fucking meet and greet or whatever. The meet and greeting area. That's what we're gonna call that shit. Meet and greeting area. So they up in that shit, and they're just going back and forth like, okay, blah blah blah. And Franky's like, all of us are fucked, because all of us have crossed her, so now all of us, we gotta watch our backs after this. And B is like, yeah, I should have known she had a backup plan. Or Franky said, she had a backup plan. I should have known that she wasn't gonna trust a kid to do a job like this. And so they're like, just trying to figure out who the fuck killed Niels, and what the fuck is going to be their next move, because they know that Ferguson is getting off at this point. So before they could really finish their conversation, they also talked about Allie a little bit, but before they could even really get into it, Will walks over, and this is where my heart goddamn stops. Okay, Will walks over, and he's like, look, we need to talk. And immediately I'm like, this is where he fucking tells her ass. Like, I can't. Like, I'm just like, I can't right now. Like, the emotions are coming back to me as I'm fucking talking about this shit. So, and she's like, no, like, what's up? And he's like, I need to talk to you in private. And she's like, no, you can tell me right here. And I'm like, bitch, please go in private. Like, please, we don't want you falling out in front of all these goddamn strangers. So finally he gets her to go to the nurse office, or where the fuck they went, because it was a call from the hospital. Maxine had her chemo or whatever, so she was at the hospital, and she was able to get in to see Allie, and somehow got a fucking cell phone and was able to call B in the jail. So they're in the room, and we see B sitting down, and she's like, hey, what's up, what's going on? And Maxine's like, yeah, they let us in, I'm with her now. So B's like, okay, let me talk to her, whatever. So Maxine puts her on speaker, and this is like one of the most emotional moments I've ever had watching this show. So we see B communicating with an unconscious Allie, which already is fucking nerve-wracking and heart-wrenching. So she's like, you know, wake up, you know, it's time for you to get your ass up, pretty much. And, you know, obviously Allie's unconscious, so no response. No response. And then, you know, Maxine comes back to the phone and they talk for a little bit, and B is like, okay, so, you know, is she getting better? And Maxine's like, she developed a condition. Now, I don't remember exactly what the condition was, but it was some respiratory shit to where she couldn't breathe on her own. So pretty much she's on the breathing machine, life support. And we see B break down here, and I started to break down in my mind. I didn't cry, but I started to break down in my goddamn mind. I was like, oh my god, like, no, they didn't fucking kill her. Like, this whole time I was crossing my fingers, hoping and praying, waiting for this fucking episode to come on, praying on my knees that Allie was gonna fucking pull through, and they fucking just killed a bitch. Like, I'm done at this point watching it. So B's breaking down, and the whole time I'm just like, shit, like, I wish I could be there for her, you know, in that moment. She comes back to the phone and she's like, you know, let me speak to her again. And she pretty much says, look, you know, you can go ahead, you can go fly away, you can go be happy, go find Debbie, you know, take care of her, wait for me. And then this is where she says, I love you, beautiful girl. And I was just done. Like, at that moment, I was just done. Like, I threw my goddamn towel in. I said, I fucking quit. I ain't watching the rest of this episode. Like, I'm through. Like, I can't. Like, I'm too fucked up right now to even continue. So we see B, and I'm waiting for her to really break down. You know, they get off the phone or whatever, and I'm looking at her, and I'm watching her, and I'm waiting for her to really break down, but she doesn't. We see her, you know, get up, and she walks back to H block. But before she gets to H block, we see Kaz and the girls, you know, cheering and jumping around and having fun. And in my head, I'm like, oh shit, this is where she tells Kaz, and this is about to be another fucking emotional moment. But Kaz walks over to her and she's like, you know, is any news? How's Allie doing? And B just says everything is going to be fine. And this is where I'm like, oh, what the fuck is about to happen? Like, is she about to kill herself? Like, what is going on? So Kaz is like, okay, that's great. Okay, so before B goes back to H block and before she goes back to her room, she goes to the governor. She goes to Vera and she says, I need a moment with Ferguson. She is the one who got to Allie. She's the one who gave her the hot shot, and I need some a certain amount of time alone with Ferguson. And Vera, you know, she's like, I don't know, but after much convincing, Vera is down with it. So B goes back to her room, and we see her like taking down pictures and putting up pictures or whatever. I'm assuming that she put up Allie's picture. We don't actually see it, but I think that's what happened there. We also see her remove one of her pictures, and we see is a fucking screwdriver hiding behind one of the pictures. And I'm like, fuck, okay, like, B is on it. See, that's why I fuck with her, because she is always on it. So eventually Vera goes to get B, and she says, are you ready? And B says, yeah. Vera says, do you have the phone? She says, yeah. Vera walks out. Before B completely walks out, we see her throw the phone on the bed, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, some shit is really about to go down. So immediately I'm thinking she's going to try to kill Ferguson. But I'm like, in this moment, I'm like, I don't think she's actually going to be able to kill Ferguson. Like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't think she's gonna be able to kill Ferguson, but we gonna see. So next, we see Ferguson, you know, being a cocky bitch, like, oh, you know, yeah, sign my motherfucking papers so I can get the fuck up out of here. And they're like, okay, bitch. You know, Vera's like, all right, I'm gonna let your ass out, and B's gonna be waiting for you, and I hope she whoops your ass. So they let Ferguson out, and Ferguson, I guess, is looking for a ride, or she's shocked that no security or whatever's out there. And she takes a couple steps. It's a van to her left. She turns to her left, and before she, you know, starts walking down the road, B comes from behind the van. And I look at my time, and I'm like, shit, we got fucking like 3 more minutes. You know what I'm saying? So some shit's about to go down right here. So her and B have a standoff, and they talk. And she's like, B's like, this is for all the people that you done fucking hurt. Like, this whole time. This is for Allie. This is for the bitch who was scratching herself. And this is for everybody fucking else that you done fucked over. So she takes out the screwdriver and she starts walking towards her. And she's like, how does it feel, you know, to know you're about to die? How is your heart beating in your chest? And, you know, she talking that shit. So she goes to stab her, but instead Ferguson grabs her arm, bends it back, and takes the screwdriver out of her arm. And she's holding the screwdriver, and B is across from her, and B looks up at her, looks at the screwdriver, and rushes towards her, grabs her arm, and makes Ferguson stab her. So she's stabbing herself pretty much with Ferguson's hand, and she keeps stabbing herself. And Ferguson looks at her, she grabs her, and she looks at her and she says, is this what you want? And then she continues for B and starts stabbing her. And it was a point where she like stabs her and twists it. And I'm like, God damn, she ain't coming back from this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, B is dead. So she twists it, and we see B look up at her, and she says, I win. And then Ferguson looks at her in shock, and she's like, holy shit, like she fucking got me. She won up my ass. And this is where Will and Vera come rushing out of the door, and they're like, oh, drop the knife. And B passes out, and she starts, you know, bleeding out, and Will's like, yo, stay awake. Vera's like, I got the ambulance coming, like everything's gonna be okay. And we see B look up in the sky. She looks up in the sky, and she sees clouds forming. Now, while the clouds are forming, Allie is in the hospital dying. She has flatlined, and the nurses and the doctors are trying to revive her. They're trying to, you know, do the chest pump or whatever the fuck that's just called. And you know, it's just beeping. The shit is fucking beep. Okay, like she's fucking gone, and we got B over here almost fucking gone. And so they still trying to revive Allie, and we still see B looking up at the sky, but now we see what the clouds have formed into. They formed into seahorses. And y'all remember in last episode when they were talking about the seahorses, Allie said the seahorses link tails so they don't lose each other. And we see the two clouds of the seahorses come together, and they link tails. And I'm like, damn. Okay, like in this moment, I can't speak. My mouth is wide open. My tears are about to fall. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So we see B laying out on the ground. You know, pretty much it seems as though she has bled out. While we get a view of B laying out on the ground, we still hear the flat line of Allie. The screen goes black. We still hear flat line. Then out of nowhere, that shit goes off, and we see Allie, and she opens her eyes. Y'all, that episode was the best fucking episode I've ever seen. Not just from Wentworth, not just from season 4, of all time. I don't think I've ever seen an episode that fucking good. It took me through so many emotions. I mean, it took me through every emotion there is. It was points where I was about to cry. I'm sad. I'm mad. I'm happy. I'm hopeful. The episode was fucking amazing. Shit, I can't just going through that shit. I'm just reliving how the fuck I felt when the fucking screen went black after we saw Allie open her eyes. What a fucking episode. That's all I can say right now. What a fucking episode. That best fucking episode I've ever seen on TV. Not just from Wentworth. Every fucking show I've ever seen. Best finale, best episode. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this video, share. Peace, y'all.